now. And thank you all for joining. I am Marc Martorell Escofet, member of the Secretariat of the Local and Regional Time Network, and it is a pleasure for me to host this session. Now let me give the floor to Marta Junque, Director of the Time Use Initiative and also member of the Secretariat for our network. Marta, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the presentation of the fifth local and regional time agenda. This is a compilation that year to year we are doing as the local and regional time network. We do every year a publication of good practices on time policies on a certain topic. And this year we decided to talk about one thing that impacts all of us, that is the working time organization, how we work and how we can evolve to a more rational and a more sustainable work organization. We have chosen this topic because this topic is a topic that, as I said, it affects to us. 80% of the population that is working today in Europe, they are saying that they are tired, that they don't have enough hours in their day, that they need more time. Probably some of you relate very much with these comments, no? Of saying, I don't have time, I need more hours of my day. Because of that, we have choose to show examples of what different municipalities around the world, municipalities and regions around the world are doing to improve this work time organization. I will present today on my intervention, I will present this agenda. I will go in a second. But first of all, I wanted to say thank you very much to all of you that are here. Thank you very much to the local and regional time network to organize this event in collaboration with the Time Use Initiative. Especially thank you to Marc Martorell that have done an important amount of work to make it happen. But also thank you to the 18 cities and regions around the world that have shared their good practices on this topic, 18. And thank you as well to the colleagues that have written an introductory reflection texts on how to implement these practices. Especially, I want to say thank you to the colleagues from the European Work Time Network, which they agreed to make a reflection on that, and as well the colleagues from the Time Use Initiative. As I was saying, today we will present the agenda, but apart from presenting the agenda, we have picked up five cities which will explain what they have been doing on that aspect. So I want to give the welcome from the city of Bansko in Bulgaria. I want to say welcome to Daniela, that she is the head of the office manager of the municipality of Bansko. And also Milano from Italy, which Laura Puggiano from the mobility department will show as well good practices on how to work, on which adaptations are they working on, working time and climate adaptation. What are they doing on these regards? And in the second block of today's event, we will talk about which are the innovations around working time. Sant Boi de Llobregat from Catalonia, Spain, they will present the project Conciliació with the councillor of Sant Boi of Llobregat, Sensi Domínguez, explaining which is this program that they have initiated. Also, Seoul will explain what they are doing to introduce the artificial intelligence and help them work better and more efficiently. And last but not least, Strasbourg will explain their practice on the 4-day week, explained by Beatrice Soldati. This is the agenda of today. So first we will analyze which good practice we have regarding climate change and working organization, how improve our working times when there is floods or when there is extreme hot and heat events. And the second part, which are the innovations on the working time. To end this reflection, we will come with the participation of the European Time Network, which they will explain as well which working time reductions examples there are around the world. This is the agenda of today. And now, to finalize my speech, I would like to present, as promised, how looks this agenda that we have all built together with the support, especially, and I want to say thank you again, of the European Commission, the project Time for All, which have been funding this publication and the organization of this event. So you can see on the screens now, I ask you to look at the screen. This is how it looks, the local and regional time agenda 5 towards a more rational and sustainable working time. And as I explained here, you will find an index where you will find all these introductions, but also 18 public policies that have been already implemented in the climate, to fight against the climate change, to introduce the artificial intelligence, and to make more well-being policies, and as well what is being done in the rural areas. This is not something that can be done in the main cities, but what can be done in the rural areas. Here you can see all the practices. So thank you again to all the cities that have been participating from them. We have practices from all the continents, Americans, Europe, and Asia. So we are very happy. It's the first time that it happens. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. And as I said, you will find several introductions, but today I want to stop my time on 8 recommendations that we have identified so cities and regional governments can ensure the right to time in the local and regional governments. First of all, as we were saying, the first recommendation is to understand that at least around 30% of the population of your cities have time poverty. So they don't have enough time to do all the activities that they need. And this is a problem that needs to be addressed. The second very important recommendation is that we can use artificial intelligence and technology to work better. But as the Time Use Week has illustrated, it's important that we dedicate the artificial intelligence to reduce those hours that we don't want to work, not to do these tasks that we really want to do. There has been examples of London, Valencia, Portugal, that they are shortening the 4-day week to work less hours and to be more efficient using the technology and the innovation. We will talk about that. But also there are examples from Toronto, Sao Paulo, Strasbourg that they show how they have been cutting the time of those tasks that were very repetitive, so their staff can be focusing on the more creative and strategic work. Also, the third recommendation is that we need to regulate the artificial intelligence beyond the efficiency. We cannot just look at the efficiency as the main criteria. As a public services, we also need to look at other impacts on terms of how it will impact on equality in democracy. Will it affect everybody the same way? And here I think that the examples that you will find here of Barcelona City Council and Bansko will show how to use that, especially how to use technology, how to use the working time organization to tackle other problems as can be the heat waves. The fourth recommendation, and is the one that we wanted to say, is that it's very important that we don't think that just with the technology we will solve everything. in the working organization time, it's very important that we give a space for the collective bargaining. So examples that you will find on this agenda on how the Labor Relations Council of Catalonia are agreeing among business organization and union organization how to agree on time policies, it's a very good example on the power of the collective bargaining. And the last recommendation, the last three. The last recommendation that we want to make to you today is as well the importance of integrate the time use and all the technology on the digital urban planning. We will see the example of Seoul today. There is also the example of Amsterdam, Milano, where we will be seeing how they have been using this technology to reduce the time that we need to travel around the city. So this is again another very good use of these different ways of working in a more sustainable and rational way. The last two advices that we have seen is that it's important that we use the technology, but that we also show to our citizens the importance of the digital diets and to do not everything running. There are things that can be done more slow, and it's better for our well-being and to avoid the techno stress. And here there are different examples of the Barcelona metropolitan area and Barcelona that shows examples on that. And last but not least, the last recommendation is on the importance of not working alone. Working as a network, building the governance to ensure the right to time. And here is where we recommend for those cities that are still not part of the local and regional time network to join to the network as a space to grow all together and to exchange examples of time policies as today we will be seeing. So with that, I just wanted to thank you again for connecting, for visualizing this video after all. And I wish you a very, very nice and very pleasant session today with these amazing speakers that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you for these welcome remarks. Now, let me all introduce you to the first block of the session. We will be speaking about working time and installation with climate adaptation and mitigation. So now, let me call to the floor to Daniela Pashetsieva, Head Office Manager of the Municipality of Bansko. Daniela, you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, dear colleagues and partners. My name is Daniela Pachidjeva, and I am from the municipality of Bansko, which is in Bulgaria. Today, I will present our approach to adopting working hours during heat waves, a practice we introduced to protect employees, maintain services quality, and respond more effectively and climate challenges. Before I explain the policy, let me briefly introduce Bansko. We are a mountain municipality known for tourism, strong outdoor activity, and very dynamic working environment. Despite our alpine location, recent summers have brought unusually temperatures. This prompts us to take action. Heat waves and becoming more frequent, longer and hotter, even in mountain regions. This creates three major problems for us. First of all is significant health risks for outdoor municipal workers. The second is reduced productivity during extremely hot waves. And the third one is operational challenges in delivering public services. In this context, we need a productive approach to protect people and maintain efficiency. The objective of our policy is simple and clear: to reduce exposure to extreme heat while ensuring the continuity and quality of municipal services. we wanted to structure predictable system that allow the administration and function sustainability and safety during heat waves. Our policy consists of several coordinated measures. First of all is adjust working hours for outdoor terms, flexible schedules or for indoor staff, mandatory heat rotation breaks, clear communications with the public. This approach ensures that all departments can maintain their responsibilities without exposing workers to health risks. For outdoor workers, we shift the workday earlier. Teams start between 6 and 7 a.m., finish or pause during the hottest hours, and may resume later in the afternoon if needed. This change has significantly reduced heat-related incidents and increased productivity. Administrative teams also follow the flexible arrangement. First of all is arrival between 6 and 7 o'clock a.m., remote work for suitable tasks, limited field visits. This flexibility keeps staff safe and support energy efficiency inside municipal buildings. Transparency is essential. We always inform residents about temporary changes in service hours. This builds public trust and ensures that service continue to be delivered smoothly. This policy leads to more rational and sustainable working time in several ways. Workers are healthier and more productive. Services continue without interruption. Energy consumption decreases. Motivation and morale improve. The administration becomes more climate resilient. These results confirm that adoption can be both simple and effective. So far, the outcomes are very positive. Fewer heat-related illnesses, higher productivity in morning hours, better planning of outdoor projects, greater employee satisfaction. We now consider this model a permanent part of our climate adoption strategy. To conclude, adopting working hours during heat waves helps Bansko protect its employee, improve efficiency, reduce operational risks, and strengthen climate resilience. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I am here.
Thank you, Daniela, Blagodaria. Now we will be having questions at the end. So if anyone has questions, I encourage you to begin writing or wait until the end and write the questions then. Now we will be having the case of Milan with Laura Putignano from the Mobility Division's Smart Mobility Department of the Milan City Hall. Laura, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks for having invited me to be here to talk about the project, the Living Lab project. We started in 2022 and that will last in the mid of 2026. Let me share just a second my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, first of all, I'd like to talk to you about a bit of about the city. Milan is a quite big city in the north of Italy. We have 1,400,000 inhabitants. quite a big city in terms of inhabitants, but quite small in terms of surface. We have a very high density of cars, about 49 cars each 100 inhabitants, and but we don't use very often our cars. It means that most of the time they are parked, and so they use a lot of public space that could be used for something else. What happened in 2022? We were selected to test the mobility as a service. That is a new concept that in terms of the use of mobility has a service to improve everyday life. And our city was selected to become a living lab where we could test connected and autonomous driving. We are receiving a contribution of 7 million euros to test to deploy this area of testing. And this project is based on the quadruple helix of innovation. It means that it involves citizens, it involves companies, it involves universities and research, and of course it involves citizens. Then, first of all, our goal was to create an open innovation ecosystem in the urban mobility sector in order to increase the efficiency of local public transport services. So, as far as the Living Lab project is concerned, and the relation with the improvement of the times of the city is the goal of improving the commuting times, making travels around the city more sustainable. The area that is involved is the area of the main bus route of the city. Is a circular line. I will show it to you later. And the area that is involved in this project is 5 kilometers long with 27 crossings intersection. That have been equipped with an infrastructure of cameras and of intelligent traffic lights. And the aim is also to increase this area of 5 kilometers to the whole circular line of the line 90 and 21. In this image, in example, you can see the route of line 19 and 21, 19 and 91, and the area of the Living Lab project. We choose this line because this line is always working. It is active 20 hours a day, and it works all the days in the year. And we try to make journeys more comfortable for users, more safer, and also to allow citizens to plan their journeys in a more intelligent way. What I was telling to you before, we installed roadside units that helps the autonomous driving. We installed 66 cameras to count and classify vehicles. And also we installed 5 sensors at bus shelters and 30 sensors on buses. These sensors count the passengers that are waiting at the shelters and passengers that are on the buses. All this information are collected on a platform, and this platform conveys information through an app that was developed by our public transport operator. Through this app, you can see, in example, arrival times and vehicle locations around the route. You can also see the type of vehicle arriving, so how many seats are free, how many people is on the bus. So you can see also if there are spaces for vulnerable users, and so you can choose, in example, if you are going to take the next bus or the buses that will follow. So it could be useful to plan our journey around the city. Of course, it is very important because you can plan in a more intelligent way your transfer. In terms of expected benefits of all the project, we aim to increase the efficiency of local public transport, optimizing the traffic flows, because with the analysis of all the traffic flows, we will be able to plan better also the traffic public transport, and to increase also the safety, and to also make some simulation of how the traffic flow could change according some changes that we could introduce. And the targets, of course, are the reduction of emissions, the use of public transport instead the private car, and to improve also the safety of transport. Of course, there are many challenges in this project. First of all, the technology that is very complex. We must do everything according to all the rules in terms of privacy and of regulation. So it is a very interesting challenge, and we are trying to working also on the optimization in the collection and use of data for the smart mobility management. There are many opportunities, of course. The opportunities are that this infrastructure can be used to test autonomous and connected vehicles technologies. All this activity involved both university and citizens. We developed laboratories with stakeholders, with citizens, and with experimenters in order to collect their inputs and to test new technologies in this area. And we hope to be a model that can be replicated in other cities, of course, only with the best practices, and all with the experiences positive experiences we had, trying to avoid the mistakes that you know can happen in all the projects. Before saying to you goodbye, I'd like to share a small video that explain to you what I've talked to you about. Just a second. Let me know you can see the screen.
Yes.
that's all for me. I hope that it was interesting, and if you have questions, I'm here.
Thank you, grazie Laura. Thank you for this amazing presentation. Now we will go to block 2 on innovation and working time with the cases of Sant Boi de Llobregat, Strasbourg, and the Metropolitan Government of Seoul. So I will first of all let you all know that we will be having speakers speaking in both Spanish and French. So in case you haven't activated your captions, please feel free to do so. Remember that they are in the 3 dots below at the toolbar. Now I will be changing to Spanish. So Cristina, Sensi, ahora tenemos la intervención por parte de Sensi Domínguez, concejal del Ayuntamiento de Sant Boi de Llobregat. Sensi, cuando quieras, puedes empezar.
¿Sí me oye bien?
Perfecto.
Bien, lo primero, buenas tardes. Un placer compartir este espacio con todas y todos vosotras, este espacio de intercambio de experiencias. Para mí es la primera vez y estoy casi que un poquito emocionada con poder participar de este grupo. Bien, Sant Boi es una ciudad metropolitana, del área metropolitana, de más de 84.000 casi 84.000 habitantes, de más de 21 kilómetros cuadrados, con una parte muy importante de terreno agrario y una ciudad muy bien comunicada en cuanto a infraestructura. Estamos muy cerca del aeropuerto, muy cerca del puerto y de las principales vías de comunicación, con 8 polígonos industriales y casi 1.900 empresas, más de casi 700 en los polígonos industriales. Pero para situar un poquito, estamos situados en una comarca básicamente obrera. Bien, dicho esto, os presento un proyecto que nos hace especial ilusión en el que hemos trabajado mucho desde la convicción de la utilidad que puede y el impacto social que puede tener. Bien, partimos de una base desde el Ayuntamiento de Sant Boi que las ciudades tienen que ir adaptándose a las necesidades de la ciudadanía, empresas, entidades y todos los actores que al final interactuamos en la ciudad, ¿no? En tanto en los servicios, en la política económica, en el empleo, y que debemos evolucionar, ¿no? Adaptándonos, ¿no? A los cambios que se han producido en estos últimos 50 años. Y como agentes de cambios de cambio y transformadores que somos, también debemos garantizar que estos cambios sean inclusivos y que asegurarnos de que todas las personas tengan las mismas oportunidades. Y también trabajamos desde el convencimiento de que no se pueden hacer buenas políticas sin conocer y tampoco se pueden hacer buenas políticas sin alianzas. Para lo que entendemos que la colaboración público-privada es imprescindible y también entre administraciones, ya que los ayuntamientos solo no pueden. En cuanto a así pues entendemos también que las políticas del tiempo deben ser políticas claves, políticas esenciales a la hora de redefinir y adaptarnos a los importantes cambios sociales. La organización del tiempo es un elemento fundamental en torno al que giramos todas las personas. Al final, la mayoría de veces, o la mayoría de personas, yo diría la inmensa mayoría, organizamos nuestro tiempo alrededor del tiempo de trabajo. Y este elemento nos llevó a la convicción de hacer este proyecto que creíamos necesario, ¿no? Hasta ahora se organizaba el tiempo del trabajo en torno a una persona que era disponible, generalmente un hombre, porque tenía en casa a alguien que le resolvía todos los problemas. Y esto ha cambiado, ¿no? En la actualidad ha habido un cambio de paradigma, afortunadamente, en donde quizás mi generación o muchas generaciones han trabajado, generaciones anteriores trabajábamos, organizábamos nuestra vida en torno al trabajo, porque trabajábamos para vivir. Y ha habido un cambio de paradigma donde ahora se trabaja para vivir. Y eso es muy importante, ¿no? Las nuevas generaciones valoran más las experiencias, el tiempo de ocio, el desarrollo profesional, incluso más que el éxito profesional a veces, muchas veces. Y las mujeres, afortunadamente, tenemos más presencia en el mundo laboral, en el mundo del trabajo remunerado. Y esto también tiene un impacto en las empresas que deben adaptarse a esas nuevas realidades, por lo tanto, a las medidas de conciliación. Por eso este proyecto va muy encarado a hablar de tiempo de trabajo y a trabajo con las empresas, a la organización del tiempo de trabajo. Y para eso hay factores, claro, con las empresas también tenemos que acabar también viendo cuáles son sus necesidades para tomarlas como una ventaja a la hora de implementar estos cambios, ¿no? Y está comprobado y estudiado que la mejor organización del tiempo mejora la productividad, mejora el bienestar, fideliza, atrae talento y tiene una cosa muy importante, que supongo que en otros países también puede ser un problema, pero aquí en España, que también lo es para muchas empresas, es el absentismo laboral, ¿no? Por lo tanto, también es un factor en el que influye a la hora de, muy importante, que influye a la hora de reducir el absentismo laboral. Y también algo importante que tiene que ver con promover la igualdad de género y la reducción de las desigualdades sociales. Y también se ha demostrado que una mejor organización del tiempo y optimizar los recursos también permite una mejor optimización del tiempo, o sea, de los recursos de la empresa, también reduce la huella medioambiental. Por lo tanto, la conciliación beneficia a las empresas y a las personas trabajadoras. Y, bueno, hay estudios, el Foro Económico Mundial, por primera vez, ha puesto un dato de relieve, que es que cuando el talento, las personas más jóvenes y no tan jóvenes van a buscar trabajo, preguntan antes el horario que salgan. Por lo tanto, que entendemos que es una ventaja, ¿no? Esta situación de necesidad por una parte de las empresas de mejora de productividad, de atracción y retención de talento y de reducción del absentismo, entre otras cosas, con las demandas de las personas para producir cambios en cómo vemos o cómo organizamos el tiempo de trabajo. Por lo tanto, también hay un factor importante que no he dicho y es el tener cómo las empresas no solo mejoran la competitividad y son más atractivas, sino también que mejoran la imagen a la hora, y la imagen y la reputación, ¿vale? Y por eso, desde este punto de vista, ¿no? Desde que los ayuntamientos también somos agentes de cambio y además también somos a la hora de producir estos cambios, siempre tenemos en cuenta esta mirada social, esta mirada inclusiva, esta mirada igualitaria, pues entendíamos que desde nuestra posición este proyecto podría ser muy interesante. Para hacer este proyecto en conciliación, hemos hecho un trabajo riguroso de escucha de los agentes claves del municipio, con el apoyo de una administración, que es el área metropolitana de Barcelona, y con el asesoramiento de la TUI, para acabar de conceptualizar la idea de qué es el conciliación, ¿no? Y también es un proyecto que tiene 3 fases, ¿no? En esta primera fase era hacer un estudio y crear una herramienta que ahora presentaré, y luego pues era crear una red, crear un distintivo de calidad, de distinción y de calidad, ¿vale? Y también con el apoyo de la Diputación de Barcelona, que es otra administración, hemos realizado pues, un diagnóstico. Pues ya hemos hecho un diagnóstico en este caso de 10 empresas con los agentes sociales y personas expertas, hemos hecho un estudio y una diagnosis. También para ver si la idea era buena, si cuajaba, qué interés despertaba y demás, ¿no? Y también hemos tenido diferentes conclusiones, ¿no? La necesidad de respuesta, adaptarlas para retener y atraer talento y hacer frente al absentismo laboral, ¿no? La conciliación ha demostrado que aumenta la productividad en un 12%, que reduce el absentismo, mejora la imagen de la marca, hace más próspera e innovadora la empresa y también al final la empresa también tiene que cumplir unas medidas tanto europeas como estatales de conciliación, ¿no? Y luego también la falta de visibilidad y reconocimiento también de aquellas empresas que están comprometidas y facilitan la conciliación y también que están trabajando para un cambio cultural necesario para que supere que la conciliación, al final, la mejor organización del tiempo de trabajo, al final es un beneficio para todos y todas y que es una inversión que siempre da beneficios, no se vea como un problema, ¿no? Y luego, este proyecto, ¿vale? Una de las cosas que pretendíamos también es que tuviera ya de entrada, en la primera fase, pudiéramos hacer un elemento que fuera de impacto, ¿no? Por lo tanto, hemos creado una herramienta de autodiagnóstico donde las empresas se pueden autodiagnosticar para saber en qué estado están de conciliación, que además les ofrece una comparativa con otras empresas del mismo sector, que era una de las cosas que preguntaban las empresas, cómo está la empresa de al lado, ¿no? Y también, también la idea de crear la red, ¿no? Una plataforma que al final es una plataforma, que es la fase en la que estamos ahora, de crear una plataforma público-privada de colaboración entre empresas, donde las empresas puedan encontrar formación, intercambio de buenas prácticas, o puedan encontrar también asesoramiento y seguimiento, ¿vale? Así, yo aquí entro, la otra. Sin más, para ir un poco más rápido, es aquí sí que os pongo ¿es esta la que están viendo? No, está viendo. Esta es una diapositiva, una imagen de la herramienta, ¿no? Que se ha creado, es una herramienta de aproximadamente 25 preguntas online, o sea, es una herramienta electrónica que cualquier empresa en un espacio de unos 25 minutos puede implementar. Así, donde tiene cinco áreas, ¿no? Para saber cómo está en términos de conciliación, ¿no? ¿Qué áreas de mejor, qué puntos fuertes tiene, qué áreas de mejora tiene y cómo está comparada con las empresas del mismo sector y el mismo tamaño. Para hacer esta prueba piloto también diagnosticamos a 5 empresas de diferentes sectores y diferentes tamaños, entre otras para probar la herramienta y también para recoger también sus aportaciones, ¿no? Y el resultado es esto. Y ahora, pues como digo, estamos elaborando la segunda fase, que es la creación de la red de empresas de control. Y aquí más o menos lo dejo. Gracias.
Gracias, Sensi. Thank you, Sensi and Sant Boi. It's a really interesting project, the one that you have in Sant Boi. These kind of projects are the ones that have led you, or that the network have encouraged you, have encouraged the network to recognize yourself as the World Capital of Time Policies for 2026, right? So thank you very much. Now we will be giving the floor to Strasbourg, and with that we will be changing into French. Maybe colleagues from Sant Boi, you can stop sharing the screen. If not,
Est-ce que je peux partager mon...
oh,
Voilà, peut-être là, pour pouvoir... Je vais essayer de le faire.
ouais, alors,
Cristina, si podéis dejar de compartir.
Ouais, il faudrait que... Voilà, Dominguez. Voilà,
alors,
merci.
merci beaucoup. With me,
Voilà.
nous avons Beatrice Soldati. We have Beatrice Soldati, Officer for Working Time and Telework of the Human Resource Direction of the City of Strasbourg. Beatrice, merci beaucoup. Quand vous voulez.
Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation. Donc, je vais vous présenter en fait ce que nous avons mis en place depuis le 1er janvier 2024, c'est-à-dire donner la possibilité aux agents qui sont volontaires de travailler sur 4 jours dans la semaine sans réduction du temps de travail. En France, nous devons, la réglementation nationale nous impose 35 heures par semaine, normalement sur 5 jours. Et là, nous avons proposé une semaine de 35 heures réalisée sur 4 jours, c'est-à-dire en moyenne 8h45 de travail, plus forcément une pause méridienne de 45 minutes, ce qui donne des journées de 9h30, ce qui est quand même assez long. Cette formule s'adresse à l'ensemble des agents qui sont soumis à des horaires variables, donc des agents qui n'ont pas un planning fixé par la collectivité de Strasbourg. Et cette possibilité est offerte que pour les agents en fait qui sont finalement autonomes dans leur travail et qui peuvent effectivement supporter ces longues journées de 8h45 plus la pause méridienne. Alors, en fait, le socle qui a été à l'origine de ce dispositif, qui a été voulu par les élus et fortement accompagné par l'administration générale, qui est très important d'avoir un soutien des élus et de l'administration générale, c'est de proposer un nouveau modèle de travail pour répondre aux nouvelles attentes de certains de nos collaborateurs, tout en maintenant la qualité du service public. Offrir aussi la possibilité à des agents qui travaillaient à temps partiel, 80%, c'est-à-dire 4 jours par semaine, mais qui perdaient une partie de leur salaire puisqu'ils ne travaillaient que 80% sur la semaine.
Béatrice,
Et puis aussi améliorer la qualité et l'équilibre entre la vie professionnelle et la vie privée.
Béatrice,
Donc,
tu peux peut-être changer de page?
oui, pardon. Voilà. Alors, du côté des agents, oui, c'était là. Du côté des agents, en fait, nous avons. Alors, je vous l'ai dit en introduction, c'est quelque chose, c'est le volontariat qui est à la base du dispositif. Ça n'a pas été imposé à une catégorie d'agents. Ce n'était pas que des agents de catégorie A, B et C. A, c'est les cadres. B, c'est plutôt les rédacteurs. Et le C, c'est plutôt ceux qui sont dans l'exécution. Donc, ça a été ouvert à l'ensemble des agents et à l'ensemble des directions de la collectivité. Donc là, vous voyez en fait qu'il y a pratiquement toutes les directions qui ont été représentées, sachant que effectivement, par exemple, la direction solidarité, santé et jeunesse, il y a 17 personnes qui ont souhaité pouvoir bénéficier de cette semaine en 4 jours, 35 heures en 4 jours, alors qu'à la direction des sports, il n'y a eu qu'un expérimentateur. On a été surpris aussi de constater que les, la, la tranche d'âge était plutôt des agents qui étaient en deuxième partie de carrière, c'est-à-dire entre 50 et 55 ans, et pas du tout les plus jeunes, hein, les moins de 30 ans. Alors, c'est sûr que ça s'explique par le fait que si les agents sont parents de jeunes enfants, il faut les déposer à l'école ou à la crèche et aller les rechercher en général avant 18 heures le soir. Donc, des journées de 8h45, plus la pause méridienne, plus le transport, c'était compliqué. Par contre, des agents qui sont ou en fin de carrière ou en deuxième partie de carrière, ils ont d'autres obligations et notamment, on a eu un certain nombre d'agents qui étaient proches aidants, c'est-à-dire qui sont dans leur vie personnelle privée, accompagnent soit une personne âgée, soit une personne en perte d'autonomie. Et là, ça leur donnait la possibilité de pouvoir avoir une journée par semaine pour pouvoir effectivement apporter cette aide à cette personne en perte d'autonomie. Alors, notre dispositif est assez rigide, c'est-à-dire c'est 4 jours par semaine sur 5. Le choix de la journée libérée se faisait en concertation avec le cadre, hein, le hiérarchique, le supérieur hiérarchique. On n'avait pas de limitation, hein, ça peut être le lundi, mardi, mercredi et jeudi ou vendredi. Cette journée libérée, c'est une journée qui est vraiment sacralisée et en général, on ne rappelle pas les agents qui ont cette journée libérée. On voit dans les statistiques que tout de même, c'est une majorité de cadres A qui ont des fonctions et des missions où ils ont une grande autonomie, où ils ont des projets à mener et ils peuvent en fait s'organiser au fil de l'année et concentrer en fait leur activité sur 4 jours. Évidemment, des agents qui font de l'accueil du public ou par exemple des agents qui sont à la collecte des déchets ou aux espaces verts n'ont pas pu bénéficier effectivement de cette formule. Alors, on a les bénéfices. Voilà, on va parler un petit peu. Donc, le jour libéré, hein, c'est en général hein, le vendredi et le mercredi. On retrouve le vendredi pour avoir un week-end prolongé. On retrouve le mercredi pour les parents qui, effectivement, ont un enfant à charge et qui ont bénéficié de ce dispositif, qui ont souhaité bénéficier de ce dispositif pour pouvoir s'occuper de leurs enfants. On a quand même une part importante de femmes qui travaillent, qui ont choisi le mercredi. Donc là, c'est en rapport avec leurs enfants. Et on a effectivement, les hommes, ils ont plus bénéficié du vendredi. Bon, là, c'est... Alors, au niveau des bénéfices, en fait, comment dire, un des points de la réussite, c'est que la majorité des agents qui ont bénéficié de ce dispositif de la semaine en 4 jours, en fait, bénéficient également de 2 jours de télétravail, ce qui leur permet, en fait, en télétravail, de faire des grosses journées, des journées plus importantes, parce qu'ils n'ont pas de transport, et de travailler effectivement les 2 jours sur site, parce que nous, au niveau de la réglementation nationale en France, les personnes qui télétravaillent sont dans l'obligation d'être 2 jours en présentiel sur leur site de travail habituel. Donc là, c'est vraiment quelque chose qui a été très important et qui a aidé à la réussite de ce dispositif. Une autre conséquence qu'on n'avait pas mesurée, on pensait, nous, justement, en mettant en place cette possibilité de travailler 4 jours, que ça permettrait aux organisations de réfléchir sur l'organisation du temps de travail, sur des nouveaux plannings, sur une évolution en fait de la façon de travailler. Et on a vu que bon, on a très peu de personnes qui finalement sont rentrées dans le dispositif de la semaine en 4 jours. On voit qu'il n'y a pas eu de changement, que c'était plutôt en fait des organisations où on a fait appel à l'intelligence collective des agents. Ils se sont organisés en binôme, ils ont organisé des boîtes mail communes, des espaces informatiques communs pour que il y ait, pendant leur absence, il y ait une gestion de l'urgence, des gestions des dossiers et qu'il n'y ait pas de perte au niveau du suivi des dossiers. Quelque chose que nous avons aussi remarqué, c'est que le réinvestissement du jour libéré, c'est en général avant tout pour soi. L'agent va effectivement profiter pour faire soit du sport, soit s'investir dans une association, soit refaire des études, euh, soit pour assurer la logistique, comme ça ils ont un week-end effectivement où ils peuvent se reposer, ou pour la famille. Voilà. Donc ça a un effet bénéfique pour tout ce qui est la vie personnelle de l'agent. Alors, du côté des managers, la condition de la réussite, ça a été dans un premier temps le fait que, comme on avait instauré le télétravail depuis 2014 au sein de la collectivité, le fait de la semaine en 4 jours couplé avec le télétravail, ça s'est vraiment ça a été facile à mettre en place. Et puis, les managers, finalement, ont utilisé cette offre de semaine en 4 jours comme marque de reconnaissance des collègues qui, effectivement, étaient très investis, comme un levier de motivation. Ils ont aussi remarqué que les agents, il n'y avait pas de manque de baisse de productivité et qu'il y avait cette journée supplémentaire de repos dans la semaine. C'était bénéfique parce qu'il y avait moins de stress. Par contre, ils ont remarqué que les agents étaient beaucoup plus productifs au niveau des réunions. Elles étaient plus concentrées, de façon automatique et naturelle, les agents priorisaient plus leur dossier et qu'il y avait une meilleure communication. Alors, voilà, en conclusion, alors c'est un modèle de travail que nous avons trouvé innovant, mais qui répond à des attentes de certains collègues, pas du tout tous. Je vous rappelle bien que c'est des agents qui ont des horaires variables, des horaires qui ne sont pas imposés par la collectivité. Nous avons au sein de la collectivité un certain nombre de personnels qui travaillent sur 4 jours, comme ceux qui travaillent par exemple dans les écoles primaires et maternelles, mais là c'est imposé par la collectivité, ce n'est pas un choix de l'agent. Je rappelle que la semaine en 4 jours dont je vous parle, cette expérimentation, c'est vraiment au choix de l'agent. Qu'il y a effectivement un des objectifs, c'était d'offrir aux agents qui étaient à 80% de pouvoir repasser à 100%, donc d'avoir le bénéfice d'un salaire à 100% sans perdre le bénéfice d'une journée de repos, et ça a été le cas. On voit aussi, il y a une amélioration au niveau de l'équilibre vie personnelle et vie professionnelle, sans pour cela finalement générer plus de fatigue. Les gens sont peut-être plus fatigués les 4 jours où ils travaillent, mais avec les 3 jours de repos, en fait, ça leur convient bien et on n'a pas eu de remontée spéciale de la médecine du travail. Alors, du côté des managers, ils restent prudents parce que, en fait, ils ont accordé cette possibilité, cette organisation du travail pour des agents qui étaient méritants, qui savaient s'organiser, qui étaient plutôt en fin de carrière, et c'était plutôt pour les remercier de leur investissement. Et ils s'interrogent sur le fait que si effectivement ça se généralise et qu'il y ait des collectifs complets qui passent à 4 jours, là, il faudra effectivement repenser complètement l'organisation du temps de travail Et là, pour la continuité du temps du service public, revoir effectivement l'organisation. Voilà. Et une difficulté que nous avons, c'est évidemment l'inégalité croissante entre les métiers qui peuvent effectivement accéder à cette formule de travail de 4 jours par semaine et ceux qui ne peuvent pas puisqu'ils sont effectivement assujettis à des entretiens réguliers avec des usagers ou un travail manuel qui fait qu'ils ne peuvent pas télétravailler ou s'absenter un jour par semaine. Voilà. Merci beaucoup pour votre écoute et voilà, je reste à votre disposition pour les questions.
Merci beaucoup, Beatrice. Thank you, Beatrice, for this amazing presentation. Now we will be seeing a video from the Metropolitan Government of Seoul. But first of all, let me remind you that you all will be able to find all these practices that we have been seeing today in the Local and Regional Time Agenda 5. You will receive this publication tomorrow, probably not today, but you as registered participants, we will be sending the publication directly to your inboxes. So we really look forward.
So for example, Mark, how it looked, the one of Seoul.
And now, yes, exactly. We will be looking at the Seoul's case on specifically how they are using the digital twin platform, basically an artificial intelligence platform for mapping the city in order to deal with commuting and time in general within the city. So let me show you specifically the video that they have been sharing with us. We would be having our colleague from the Spatial Department of the Metropolitan Government of Seoul, but he couldn't come because of the time difference. So he sent over a video. Let me share it with you. probably just for the sake of time, in this case, we will be leaving the video there, but you can find all the information about Seoul's practice in the time agenda. It's the very first practice that we are compiling because we think it's really, really interesting as a way of how using artificial intelligence and other digital innovative tools, integrating time policies and time use. So now, without further ado, we will be having the final block with our expert view, or the expert view of two of our colleagues and expert colleagues from the both of them, the European Work Time Network. So with us, we have Tatiana Piñón, Associate Director of the Autonomy Institute, and Alexandra Anostem, member of the Board of Directors and the coordination team of the European Work Time Network. So, ladies, when you want, you have to go.
Thank you so much, Mark. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. So, yeah, thank you so much for inviting us to speak today. And thank you so much to the previous speakers. It's been incredibly interesting to hear about the different sort of innovations that is happening around. I've been really enjoying it. So my name is Alex, or Dr. Alexandra Arntzen. I'm working at Nottingham Trent University, and I will start in today's presentation, and I'm presenting with Tatiana, who's going to do the sort of second half. And we're just quickly going to talk about sort of the tendencies in working time across Europe and how these are going to help advancing local economies through the sort of focus on work time reduction. So Tatiana, you're sharing the slides, you move forward. Thank you. So the focus of this presentation is different types of work time reduction initiatives that has happened across Europe. And work time reduction is something that's, been happening for a long time, but it has really gone an upswing in sort of recent time, and there's loads of different examples across Europe. So some of the ones we've highlighted here are specific because they are in areas where work time reduction is often criticized as being really hard to implement. So we have examples. There is a new pilot of work time reduction happening in Portugal, in the Azores, where they are reducing hours from 35 hours per week to 32 hours per week in their public administration. They're using a participatory approach. It means that their employees are part of the redesign of how the new work time reduction is going to work and how that is going to work in terms of productivity and delivering the same level of quality to their sort of citizens. We've had two different important trials in the UK, one being the Cambridgeshire District Council, where we now have a permanent 4-day week after they had a really successful trial, again in the public services, where they found that reducing their working time actually improved their service delivery and reduced a lot of their cost in terms of recruitment, etc. We've also had a successful trial in Scotland where we showed increases in well-being and productivity. If we're looking at Spain, despite there being some roadblocks in the sort of national political debate, we see that a lot of their unions are pushing pilots on the 37.5-hour work week in different local areas. We've had a hospital in Norway that has introduced a work time reduction on full pay, but 90% of the work, with really positive outcome from both the employees, so the staff, but also the patients. And finally, we have two examples here in France. We had compressed hours, 35 hours over 4 days in different local municipalities across France. And we see that we had no reduction in pay and no reduction in sort of service quality. So why are we seeing this movement in work time reduction? There's a couple of different things. Historically, trade unions have always had a really important role in driving work time reduction. They are the reason why we've seen the movement to an 8-hour workday, a 5-day working week. They are the reasons why we've have paid holidays, and this has sort of happened through like strikes and bargainings. They are still super influential, and they are the key drivers in some of the examples I just mentioned. But what's interesting about what happens in the work time reduction movement at the moment is that a large drive is now coming from employers. It's not just employees anymore, but like employers are looking, and especially in the sort of movement after COVID, when we started seeing some new thoughts around work. So the reasons why employers are sort of chasing this work time reduction is because they realize that their employees are struggling with well-being, with mental health, and with the whole work-life balance. So that we see hundreds of different employers across Europe introducing work time reduction to reduce stress and to reduce sickness. They see it as a tool, not just to improve well-being, but also to improve their recruitment and the retention in what is now a very competitive labour market. And we can see the examples in both the UK and in French municipalities that uses work time reduction as an attempt to attract talent. So local governments are part of these employers, and they are now really strategic actors in terms of the work time reduction movement, focusing on people and performance. So I'm going to hand over to Tatiana now.
Thanks, Alex. And thanks, everyone. Thanks to the Time Use Initiative for the invitation. It's been really great listening to everyone. So yeah, as Alex just mentioned, what we're witnessing currently is local governments becoming really strategic actors in relation to the general movement of working time reduction with no loss in pay. And in terms of what's driving this strategy, it's basically two things. So working time reduction is seen, as I just said, by many local governments as employers, as a strategy, and a strategic investment in people and performance. So we've heard some of those examples today. But working time reduction is also seen as one of the policy tools that is available to local governments as policymakers to address a range of place-based issues that pertain to their localities. So again, we've heard some of those examples today as well on that front, whether it's about the reorganization of working time or the reduction of working time itself. I think from kind of the study perspective that we have, the most ambitious experiment is probably the city of Valencia and its experiment of the 4-day week across the entire city for a month in 2023. So the study covered 360,000 citizens or residents. And the study was conducted to identify the impact that the policies of 4-day week could have on both the people, the economy, and the environment. Results were extremely positive, with improved well-being, socializing, better air quality and climate benefits, also local economy benefits. So just to summarize the benefits of working time reduction for local economies, we have those 5 main buckets. Productivity gains is one, so shorter working weeks encourage efficiency and focus on high-value tasks. As some of you have talked about, it can enable a reorganization of work to make it more efficient, kind of better prioritization and strategy. They also help engagement at work, and financially they kind of reduce absenteeism, sick days, and they improve retention and recruitment as well by providing people with more autonomy over their time and also a range of well-being benefits. And so now turning to health and well-being, the improvements there are really quite huge and have now been verified across many pilots. So they include reduced stress, better mental health, better physical health, less burnout, more time for friends and family, stronger relationships, less conflict, both in work and outside of work, and many more. It then translates into community and social benefits as well. So beyond the individual, This comes in the form of more time and availability for care work, as again we've heard about this afternoon. Also for family and community support more broadly. Working time reduction also provides more time for hobbies, for social activities, personal interest, and community engagements, all the while improving both family life and also community engagement more broadly. In terms of gender equality, as we've discussed as well, studies generally find that men on shorter working schedules do tend to take on more care and domestic responsibilities. So as Beatrice was discussing in relation to Strasbourg, of course, it's not an unequivocal link. There are also differences between men and women in what they choose to do with their time. But still, when the policy is providing an actual reduction in working hours, we do tend to see benefits there that can help reduce kind of the unequal division of unpaid labor. It can also help reduce the gender pay gap, as many women tend to take less than full-time jobs and therefore less than full-time pay in order to conduct domestic and care responsibilities, which then affects their financial security and career prospects as well. And then there are finally economic spillovers, and we really saw that in the Valencia experiment, even though it was very short. Happier communities tend to be more dynamic local economies as well. Working time reduction can also have a positive impact on local tourism, on hospitality, leisure, and yeah, again, we saw some of those results, even though it was a pioneering study in the Valencia experiment. So to wrap up, what is striking about working time reduction initiatives that are led by local governments is that we see them emerging across diverse political and institutional contexts. And we think that's quite a striking point because not all local governments have the same level of autonomy and the same competencies. And yet, despite this varying autonomy and different political interests, working time reduction really appears to be a sort of cross-cutting issue that can be mobilized in a lot of different ways that are adjusted to local strategies and concerns. Because of this, it is a really promising policy that local governments can use in a time of public crisis, particularly to address what the European Commission has called the triple transitions, social, environmental, and digital. It can strengthen economic resilience, support local economy development. It can bring benefit to the people by promoting social justice, improving well-being, and advancing gender equality. It can support environmental sustainability as well and favor more sustainable lifestyles. So both at the kind of macro level, as we see in terms of commuting, for example, but also consumption habits. So working time reduction is not a silver bullet. It doesn't solve everything, of course, but it needs to be paired with other policies to really meet its full potential. But it can be a really effective and transformative local policy with the potential to both deliver direct benefits and to support wider policy efforts as well for the people, the environment, and the economy alike. So that's all for us. Thanks very much for listening, and yeah, very much looking forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Tatiana, Alexandra. Thank you for this presentation. Now, as you have seen, we are running a bit out of time. We will be having open questions in the chat. So if anyone wants to have a specific question to any of the speakers, please write their name or to whom they are directing the question, and then make your question. And then I will be asking the speakers just in one phrase, a quick question. What would territories with a rational and sustainable time look like with your policy? So with the Milan's policy, in the case of Milan, mobility, with Strasbourg, with the work week, etc. So anyone, maybe we can begin in the order we just did. So that will be Bansko, Milan, Strasbourg, and then finally Tatiana and Alexandra. So yes, just one phrase, three words, 5 words. So Laura or Daniela, sorry, yes. Or Laura, if you want to take the question. So the question would be, what would I will also write my question in the chat, but then we have also a question for Daniela. Did the worker representatives were involved in the design and implementation of the policy that you explained? Not sure.
Just a second.
Yes, no worries. We can go with the different speakers. So if anyone wants to answer also to any of the questions, Laura, you have a.
If you want, yes, if you want,
Yeah.
I can reply to the questions about the lessons learned from the project and what we tried that worked and what we tried that didn't work. Well, first of all, we learned that is a challenge to organize and to manage a project with such an high complexity because it involved many departments of the municipality. First of all, the mobility, but also the in IT department. And it was quite heavy to keep all the people engaged in doing what they needed to do because all the activities were connected. If we had one problem with one activity, it had reflections also on the development of other activities. So we had to work together to collaborate strongly, and the cooperation and collaboration was the first point of attention of all the activities we led. First of all, you must be careful to the communication and to be all aligned in what we are doing. So the project management was a very, very challenging point of this project. And maybe what didn't work is we didn't manage to spend all the money we had. So it was another problem because we, in terms of deliverables, we managed to reach all the targets, but maybe we weren't so capable to estimate all the cost expenses in advance to estimate it correctly. So we had to make some changes during the activities in order to better exploit all the funds we had available.
Alors, je peux peut-être prendre la parole par la suite. Donc, je souhaite aussi répondre à la question du chat. Effectivement, une partie des collègues qui sont rentrés qui ont fait le choix de travailler en 4 jours, donc 35 heures en 4 jours, étaient des personnes qui préalablement avaient un temps de travail réduit, 80%, donc sur 4 jours, qui sont passés à 100% pour pouvoir bénéficier d'un salaire à taux plein. Et là, c'était 10% en fait de nos collègues qui ont fait 10% des personnes qui sont rentrées dans le dispositif. Effectivement, il n'y a pas de réduction du temps de travail, il n'y a pas de réduction de salaire puisqu'il n'y a pas de réduction du temps de travail. Je voulais aussi indiquer que nous sommes très vigilants et vigilantes sur le fait que on a remarqué qu'effectivement, cette possibilité, quand elle était prise, cette possibilité de travailler en 4 jours au lieu de 5 sur la semaine, finalement, ça enfermait la personne qui avait choisi dans son rôle, soit de maman, soit de papa, soit de proche aidant. Et donc, on s'interroge sur le fait que finalement, cette journée libérée, eh bien, elle ne soit pas au bénéfice de l'agent, mais parce qu'il a d'autres obligations. Alors, les enfants s'agrandir, mais effectivement, les collègues qui s'occupent d'une personne âgée, d'un parent, d'une personne connue ou d'un enfant handicapé, et ben finalement, ça les d'un côté, ça les libère, comme ça, ils ont le temps de pouvoir accompagner la personne qu'ils accompagnent, mais d'un autre côté, ça les enferme dans ce type de deuxième métier qu'ils ont et qui n'est pas forcément reposant et je dirais peut-être épanouissant. C'est pas voilà, c'est pas un choix. Donc c'est vrai qu'on est très très vigilant pour le fait de dire attention, il ne faut pas aussi que ce dispositif soit dévoyé et enferme les personnes dans un deuxième métier, cette fois qui est non rémunérés comme voilà, s'occuper de ses enfants, s'occuper d'une personne âgée, etc. Donc on est très vigilant et vigilante sur ce dispositif et c'est pour ça que nous avons mis en place un dispositif qui existe en France, je ne sais pas s'il existe ailleurs, qui s'appelle le don solidaire de jours de repos. Et pour les agents qui s'occupent d'un enfant de moins de 25 ans ou qui ont eu un deuil ou qui s'occupent d'un proche aidant, ils ont la possibilité de rentrer dans un dispositif et de bénéficier de 90 jours de congés supplémentaires pour pouvoir suivre cette activité. Voilà. Donc, effectivement, cette semaine de 4 jours n'est pas forcément a forcément des côtés qui sont pas forcément bonnes pour la santé des agents. Merci pour votre écoute.
Merci, Beatrice. Maybe just we are running out of time, so just Tatiana and Alexandra, last 2 phrases, and then I will leave Martha to close the session.
Thanks. Do you want to go first? You go.
I think when it comes to the original question you said, Mark, I think with work time reduction, we're trying not to be prescriptive. I think it's really important to work locally, work together with organizations and with employees and make sure that the whole work time reduction process is participatory, working together with trade unions that are representing the interest of the employees is key. Thank you.
I'd agree with that, and I think it's something that comes up a lot in what we're seeing is around flexibility and the question around so compressed hour in a way, not reducing working time, but reorganizing it is giving people more flexibility over their time. Where we see better benefits is when we also reduce working time, but there's no reason why reducing working time cannot come with a flexible schedule as well. And it's important to give people a chance to at least have input in how their time is organized. Yeah, I'll end on that.
Thank you, Tatiana and Alexandra. I also have an answer. Apologies, apparently Daniela's computer just crashed, but she wanted to answer the question. So let me answer Maria's question on the involvement of workers' representatives in the designing of Bansko's policies. She says that yes, representatives of workers were actively involved in both the design and the implementation of the policy. They participated in consultations, provided feedback on proposed measures, and contributed to shaping decisions to ensure that the policy reflects the real needs and priorities of the employees. Their involvement continued throughout the implementation phase to monitor progress, address challenges, and support a smooth and effective rollout. So hoping that answers some of the questions, not all of them. Martha, yes, if you want to close the session for today.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody, for your time, for your presentations, the amazing examples that you have shared. I saw a lot of debate on the chat, so a lot of people who was active, was listening to you and these inspiring examples. Just to final remarks, if you want to learn more about time policies, how they are implemented, how you can implement in your region and in your territories, please join and follow the local and regional time network, where we gather every 1-2 months and we share new policies. this last remark, like tomorrow in your email, you will find this publication with all the good practices, but all the good practices that have been explained today, the 5 of today, plus 13 more, explaining their objectives, their impact, and their person of contact. So if you want to contact the town that is doing that, you will be able to do it. So nothing else. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to keep working together to ensure the right to time in the digital era, but in a rational and sustainable way. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.